We've got the all-new Hyundai Santa Fe.
They went in a totally different direction. Ooh. Turbo.
Wow, lots of power. There's not a lack of power, that's for sure, when accelerating.
Everybody's replacing V6s with Turbo 4s, so what's under the hood of this one?
A 2.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with an 8-speed wet dual-clutch transmission. 277 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque. Standard all-wheel drive in Canada, but there are front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive options available in the US. You can put regular fuel in the Santa Fe.
And then there's the hybrid model, which we're getting next week, so make sure you tune in for that. It has a 1.6-liter turbo 4-cylinder and a 6-speed automatic transmission, 231 horsepower and 271 pound-feet of torque. For this video, we're focusing on the gasoline models. So Andrea put out questions on Instagram, and it blew up with all the people that also follow Car Confections. We met those guys recently on a Toyota event. Very nice young guys, and they have one of these, and it was bought back because of transmission issues. We'll deal with all of that in our hot topic.
Halfway through, so stick around for that.
All right, right now we're going to get into what do you get with this? What are the key standard features?
The base trim comes with a 12.3-inch digital driver display, a 12.3-inch touchscreen, a 6.6-inch climate screen, wireless Apple Carplay and Android Auto, a wireless charger, 7-passenger seating, leatherette upholstery, 8-way power and heated front seats, driver's seat lumbar support, a heated steering wheel, a sunroof, and a smart liftgate. In the US, not all these features are standard, like the 12.3-inch digital driver display, heated leatherette powered front seats, and a heated steering wheel. Instead, you get cloth in the US.
Oh, Andrea, it's your favorite kind of shifter. You love it, right?
Well, it's not my favorite. Everybody knows I like a traditional shifter, but I am getting used to it.
But look at all of this real estate you've got here.
Very clean.
All right, so now what are we going to put it in?
You got to put it in S for subscribe, and if you can hit that notification bell, you'll be notified when all of our reviews drop, and then you can watch them.
And we do this, the couple car review, twice a week. The first one drops on Wednesday.
We put another one out on Saturday.
So make sure to like and subscribe, but also follow along on Instagram to get a question in and also to see what's going on behind the scenes. For me, it's Motormouth_auto, and the links are below the like button. So we have the one that looks kind of outdoorsy, the XRT model. This is the base gasoline model in Canada, sort of middle of the pack in the United States. So it's nice not to get the top trim. They always want to give us the top trim.
They do.
And this is kind of an appearance-only thing. I like the way it drives with the smaller wheels and the all-terrain tires. It's very comfy.
Well, I can tell, you can tell, Zach, Hyundai has tuned this for comfort level. It offers a smooth ride. It's easy to maneuver. The turning radius is great. The steering is light. I would say it gets slightly heavier in sport mode, but overall, this is tuned for comfort.
I always give General Motors accolades because they do a great job with suspension calibration, and I think their mid-size SUVs are really well done. And this reminds me a lot of the way they calibrate the suspension over there at GM, and I think it's all world. It basically appeals to a lot of people.
And this 8-speed wet dual clutch transmission, you know, any time that I've been in a vehicle with a dual clutch transmission, it can feel a little bit...
Give it a kick. It went down quickly.
And smooth, smooth. It shifts quickly as well. But anytime I've been in a dual clutch, sometimes it's a little bit jerky. So this doesn't feel like it. The only time that I felt maybe that it had a dual clutch transmission is when I was stopped at a stop sign and I rolled back slightly before I accelerated off. But overall, it's really smooth.
If you didn't tell me, I wouldn't know. I think they've done, it's funny because it's a big hot topic coming up later, is all about the transmission. But this one, the one we're driving, is working flawlessly and with very good results, in my opinion.
And that's all we can report on. We drive new vehicles, we get them for a week, and we have had no problem with this transmission in the Santa Fe.
Now, it's controversial, Andrea, the way this looks. The first time I saw it, I went, oh, look, they've done a little mini Defender from Land Rover. But it's not really that. I get Ford Flex vibes from the front, Land Rover vibes from the back. But now that I'm in its company, It is growing on me.
Look, I actually like the direction Hyundai has taken on this model. Some of their models are a bit too angular and sharp for my liking, so I'm thrilled to see a boxy design. This is a popular design today. Obviously, Hyundai's got some inspiration from Land Rover. I don't know many people who don't like the look of a Land Rover.
I think this is going to be an absolute smash hit for them, based on a couple of things. The way it looks, boxy, rugged-looking SUVs, people love that.
Yeah.
And then when they drive it, they're going to go, oh man, this is comfortable. The seats are comfortable. The ride is excellent.
Yeah.
The power is very good. It's going to be an absolute smash. The last Santa Fe looked nothing like this.
No.
It was big chrome grille, sort of pseudo-luxury. Now they've gone rugged, outdoorsy, and this one will appeal to more people.
Hey, I like the old Santa Fe model. For any of you who watched our Santa Fe review, I'm a big fan of that model. It was sophisticated and elegant. So for those of you who own one,
It's good.
It's a good one too. The Santa Fe has 7 inches of ground clearance. This XRT model gets a little bit more, 1.3 inches extra, bringing it to 8.3 inches. Depending on the trim you choose, the grille changes from chrome to matte black to dark chrome. Chrome front and rear skid plates are standard, and the XRT model has more rugged front skid plates and rear bumper. Standard features on the Santa Fe include projector LED headlamps, LED tail lamps, power folding exterior mirrors, 18-inch wheels, available 20-inch and 21-inch, and a tire repair kit. In the US, a temporary spare tire is offered on all trims except the top trim. The XRT model has 18-inch wheels and all-terrain tires.
You know, the Defender has available features you can put on the side, like a little box or a little ladder. So they've kind of done that with this. It reminds me of a mail slot. It's like, is that where you put the mail?
Yeah.
But anyway, you're supposed to be able to use it as a step or a grab handle. I tried it, Andrea. It's way too high.
Yeah.
You would have to be like a mountain climber to get into that and use it. I don't understand it. To me, that's just a gimmick.
For me, I saw it at the auto show. I saw some people using it, and they basically stepped up on the tire and then used that area just to grab up and then maybe take something off the roof. That seemed to work for them.
I don't get it. So as I mentioned at the beginning, this isn't the base model in the United States, but it is the base gasoline model in Canada. And Andrea, this is all I would need. This thing is perfectly equipped for my needs.
Oh, the value that this Santa Fe offers is quite incredible. I have to applaud Hyundai for keeping the price down, especially at a time when people are really struggling and are trying to find a family hauler that is affordable. So well done, Hyundai, on that.
It's not cheap, but it's not as expensive as some of the others.
Well, compared to the competitors, this is really well done. Bench seat is offered on all trims except for the top trim. You get captain's chairs in both Canada and the US. I think that that is a miss by Hyundai. I think that a bench seat should be offered on the top trim. But what I have to say is that if you go just one below the top trim, they've priced it really well with some good key features that people might want. Features like ventilated front seats, heated rear seats, driver's seat memory, a surround view and blind view monitor, as well as the dual panel sunroof.
Okay, the only thing I would want out of that is the heated rear seats.
Okay.
This, the way it's configured like this, is all I need.
And what about driver's seat memory? This doesn't have driver's seat memory.
As long as it's power, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
So I can move it around. I'm okay with that. The way that it's designed on the inside, this is really nicely done. It's very clean, simple lines. It's got mega storage. There's a space above the vents that has a UV cleaning feature, not on this trim. I think that's gimmicky too. We don't have it. There's a glove box there, big storage underneath here, and I like the fact they have the wireless charger right here. I wish they did two. They do one on the left and one on the right is sort of passive, but I would like them both to be charged.
So the top trim actually comes with dual.
Well, I'm not spending all that money for that, Andrea. I want this one to have that.
Well, then you don't get it.
Oh, I can live with this.
You can only get that on the top trim.
All right, your phone, you got to plug it in.
I got to plug it in somewhere else. So there's a few things that I really like about this. First off, I don't see any piano black except at this 6.6-inch climate control screen. That's about it. There's a lot of soft touch materials in here, some hard plastic as well. This screen is a showstopper. In Canada, that larger 12.3-inch digital driver display and touchscreen are standard, not in the US. You do get the 12.3-inch touchscreen, but a 4.2-inch digital driver display is standard.
Yeah, but what they do is they make it look like it's this. Don't worry about that too much.
Yeah.
The new steering wheel from Hyundai looks good as well. Like I said, Andrea, this is going to be an absolute smash for them. Yeah. They won't be able to make enough of them.
And by the way, the 4 dots on the steering wheel is Morse code.
For H.
For H, yeah. Pretty clever, right? So I also want to say that this XRT model has a sunroof. You don't get the dual panel, but a lot of times with base models, you don't get anything. So this is a nice treat. There is an odd thing in this vehicle. The second row doesn't have climate control for the passengers, but you do get it in the third row, which is a row that will probably be used the least. This center console opens up here, but it also opens up here.
Get away from my sandwich.
For passengers in the rear.
So if you want all the features the top trim adds, the 12-speaker Bose sound system, a head-up display, a dual wireless charger, nice, Napa leather upholstery, a premium driver's relaxation seat, and some active safety features. In the United States, you can get the Bose sound system on the limited trim. Well, here's me getting in the back seat. This is very roomy, and because of the boxy shape, you get good legroom, excellent headroom. The seats slide fore and aft. They recline as well. Very well done.
Comparing the Santa Fe to the Mazda CX-90, the Santa Fe has 44.4 inches of front row legroom and 42.3 inches of second row legroom, which is almost 3 inches more than the CX-90 in each row.
Then you climb on into the third row, and it's surprisingly good because it's boxy again. You get adequate legroom, but very good headroom. There's HVAC controls back there and even USB-C ports.
Third row legroom at 30 inches falls a little short to the Mazda by almost half an inch.
Lift the power liftgate. What you don't get on the Santa Fe is a lot of space when all the seats are up. If you fold them down, much more useful.
Santa Fe cargo space behind the third row is 14.6 cubic feet. Behind the second row, 40.5 cubic feet. And overall cargo space is 79.6 cubic feet, which is very similar to the CX-90.
Well, the hot topic's still to come about the transmission. Right now, your questions.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
How does the third row legroom compare with the VW Atlas or Chevrolet Traverse? The trunk seems to be quite small in comparison. Why would someone choose the Santa Fe over the Atlas? First off, before we talk about this, I just want to say that this Santa Fe doesn't go up against those models.
Correct.
It's the Palisade that goes up against those models. So we would expect it to be smaller for sure.
Yeah, and those two brands don't really have anything that competes with this. So you could say, well, this is way bigger than a Tiguan.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
Anybody can play that game. It really is an interesting combination to have this size vehicle that's more right for the city.
Yeah. Here's something interesting that when I took a look at the measurements with
you were
the
shocked.
Traverse
Shocked.
and the Atlas, the front row legroom in the Santa Fe and second row legroom is actually bigger than those two vehicles.
That's crazy, right?
I know, but it's the third row, and obviously overall cargo space behind the second row and third row, where this would fall short, which makes sense because it's the Palisade that goes up against these ones.
Listen, is that a little too small for you? Oh, we'll take you right over here to the Palisade. That's the way it goes at the dealer.
Boom.
Sold.
Is Hyundai really after the forerunners of this world? If so, how serious is this machine? Is it only looks? Keep up the excellent Canadian work, and merci beaucoup for all your reviews.
This isn't going up against a forerunner.
No.
Pretty much every brand has an aesthetics package that makes it look a little more off-roady, rugged, and the all-terrain tires and smaller wheels is a trend in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
You know, and it gives you a softer ride, which I like. But no, that's a body-on-frame truck. It's not even the same league.
A Forerunner drives like a truck. Of course, we haven't driven the new Forerunner, but I suspect it will drive similar to Tacoma, which is a truck. This is tuned, as we mentioned off the beginning, for comfort and smoothness. This is what families want when they are hauling extra people. So no, I don't believe that Hyundai is even trying to go up with the likes of the 4Runner. They've just created a rugged outdoor type XRT model.
That's it.
I'd like to be able to fit a mountain bike inside the hatch. Do all the seats fold flat?
Yeah, they do fold down, and you could easily get a mountain bike in there. You often, if you want to get more than one in there, depends on the, you know, if it's a big downhill mountain bike with shocks and everything on it, you might need to take the front wheel off. You could get a bike in there, no problem. Question you have is our hot topic. What's this one, Andrea?
Aloha to you both. Really love your show and the fun banter between you. Question, I also watched the Car Confections channel. Have you seen what they went through with their new Santa Fe? Have you heard of any other problems up in Canada? It wouldn't sway me from buying one. I've driven Hyundais for over 20 years and loved every one of them.
So some real bad luck for Hyundai in the United States. The young guys who run Car Confections, the brothers, they got a Santa Fe, one of the first ones. They really like the product, like we do, but theirs had transmission issues. Where did it end up with them?
Yes, so transmission problem right off the bat. Their transmission was replaced. Second transmission had problems as well. At that point, Hyundai bought back the vehicle from them. Disappointing, obviously, news for Hyundai and for Car Confections. Look, I've done a lot of research online. I can't find any other problems with this model except for one on Reddit. Someone came forward and said that their 2024 had some issues.
All we can do is judge this on how it drives, and both of us have been very impressed, first of all, with the comfort, the suspension, and the transmission. As I said off the beginning, I wouldn't even know that this is a dual clutch. It's done such a good job. No. I suspect because they had a problem twice with a brand new transmission, it might be something else in the car talking to the transmission is doing something weird. Anyway, that's the story, and all we can do is base it on this, so make up your own mind. And people obviously make up their mind because they crashed the keyboard.
Yes, and listen, if you really want this vehicle but you're concerned about that, maybe wait a year. If you really want it, maybe lease it for 3 years. It's a great test drive to see how it is.
All right, let's get into all of the vital stats of this, like fuel economy and more.
Let's start with pricing. We'll do Canada first and then move on to the US. The Canadian pricing includes freight, PDI, and fees. The base XRT gas model starts at just under $50,000, and the top ultimate calligraphy is just over $56,000. In the US, the first front-wheel drive model starts at just under $34,000, and the top calligraphy all-wheel drive is just over $48,000.
Here's the fuel economy for this Turbo 4. 12.1 liters per 100 kilometers city, 8.8 on the highway. That's 20 miles per gallon city, 28 miles per gallon highway. This Santa Fe gas model can tow 3,500 pounds, and this XRT model can tow 4,500 pounds. The warranty is 5 years, 100,000 kilometers or 60,000 miles. In the United States, complimentary maintenance is covered for 3 years or 36,000 miles. All right, let's get into other 3-row SUVs, kind of a similar size.
For your consideration, 4 vehicles for you to consider.
Up first is the Kia Sorento with a 2.5-liter Turbo 4, 281 horsepower, and a starting price just under $46,000.
The Subaru Ascent 2.4-liter Turbo 4-cylinder, 260 horsepower, and a starting price just under $45,000.
The Mazda CX-90 with a 3.3-liter inline-6 turbo and a mild hybrid system, 280 horsepower, and a starting price just over $49,000.
The Toyota Highlander with a 2.4-liter turbo 4-cylinder, 264 horsepower, and a starting price just under $49,000.
So there are 4 3-row SUVs for you to consider.
Lightning round, 2 things we like, 2 things we'd like to see improved.
I love the value that this Santa Fe offers.
I think it's going to be a smash hit. I think I've said that 3 times now.
What I'd like to see is a bench seat offered on the top trim.
You know what I want on this, Andrea? It's kind of like, this is Zach spec. You know why? Because I can do that. All right, that's it. There's a first look at the Hyundai Santa Fe. What do you think of that?
Thanks for watching, and if you like what you see, subscribe. We'll see you next time.